If your natural hair can look this good, then we need to throw away the weaves, girl. Like, we need to throw them away. Look at this, the bounce. Hi, queens and kings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nalu. Yeah, so today we're just going to talk about the hair trims. Okay, I'm going to answer all your questions. When are you supposed to trim your hair? Why do we trim our hairs? How much hair should you trim off? What happens if you do and if you don't trim your hair? So I'm just gonna go back in the background and explain everything as I do my hair. I have blown my hair out already. I will be explaining everything I need to as I cut some of this length out. Okay, so please stay tuned. You can watch and learn as I give you all the juice. All the juice. If you want to see a video of how I silked my hair, you can check my other heat damage video. I will link it in the description bar. Okay, so we take care of our hair to increase health and reduce damage. But no matter how good you are with taking care of your hair, it's still gonna damage. It's still gonna wear and tear due to handling it, due to the weather, due to different reasons. Okay, so it's impossible to avoid all damage, but care must be taken to reduce some of that damage. So there's different types of damage, which is like mechanical damage. Mechanical damage is caused by improper handling of hair, improper detangling techniques, tension from styling and over manipulation. There's also wear and tear. There's normal wear and tear, which is impossible to avoid, like I said. It's gonna happen whether you take care of your hair or not. It could be the weather, dryness from cold air, or just other factors. But then it can be reduced. We keep our hair healthy so that it is strong and cannot just easily get damaged. Okay, so there's also heat damage. Heat damage is caused by these flat irons and the blowers and all these other things. When you're doing so much heat on your hair cannot take that. Okay, so the number of times that you put heat on your hair must be monitored, must be reduced when possible. If you're putting too much heat on your hair, it's going to break. It's going to become weak and it's going to break. I'll go into details on the heat damage in my heat damage video. Okay, so let's get to trimming the hair. So how do you know that your hair is not healthy? How do you know that your hair needs a trim? So you see thinning edges, you see single strand knots, mid-shaft splits, excess shading. That's when you know that things are not okay. You can monitor your hair even visually. Like if you have hair that is long enough, you can bring it in your face and just check throughout those knots. I personally usually sit and just, my hair is long enough to come in my face. I'm going to demonstrate that at the end of the video. My hair is long enough to come in with my face so I can actually see the strands, and I'm not doing anything. I just sit and look at my strands while I'm watching TV, while I'm doing some other things, and just cut out those single strand knots, strand by strand. It's not a lot of work. It is just something you can do when you need to work in sections. Okay, so why do we trim our hair? So all those reasons are why you need to trim out your hair from time to time. There are different types of split ends, but I'm not going to get into that because it's split ends. It has one solution. No matter what type it is, it has one solution. You need to cut it off. When you have split ends, you need to cut them off. Okay, it doesn't matter what it looks like. We're not going into that biology. You just need to cut it off at the end of the day. Okay, another question you've been asking is, how do you trim your hair? Okay, so you just need a sharp pair of hair shears or scissors. Please, the scissors that you use for your hair trim must just be for that, only that. Okay, it must be sharp. It must be meant for that. Because if you keep on using these other scissors that are not sharp, what happens is when you're cutting your hair and it's not sharp, it's just going to be like in a jaggedy glass type of, like when the glass breaks, You see, it has to be flat, because once it's like jaggedy, what happens is it's going to split again. You're bringing more splits into your hair. When the strand is not flat, after you cut it, it's gonna open up and split some more, and you have more split ends and end up cutting more hair, and you will lose more length. Okay, this is a very easy process. You can do it for yourself. You don't need to go to the salon. If you have to, you can go, but if you do not, I just recommend that you do your trims by yourself, because sometimes they will cut too much hair at the salon or use a pair of shears that they have used on 200 other heads. So if you can, do it yourself. Brings me to the next question. How much hair do you cut off? How much hair are you supposed to cut off? Okay, so how much hair do you cut off depends on the state of your hair. We're only cutting this hair out in the first place because it's damaged. Okay, so don't go out there cutting too much hair from your healthy hair. You're only cutting damaged hair. So if you're having like your regular trim, maybe like twice a year or 4 times a year, and you usually cut like half an inch, just do that. Like, just do half an inch. Okay, personally, I won't lie to you, I do half an inch most of the times, but this time around I was cutting off an inch, a little bit more than an inch, if you can see on some sections, because I just need to get out the damaged hair. I have not trimmed my hair in a long time, I think in over a year. So this is why I was cutting a little bit more, but I'm paying attention also. After this, I'll still go through strand by strand to cut out what is still left and damaged. So cut only what is damaged. You don't need to go and start cutting 2 inches, 3 inches out of your hair. No, it's not necessary, because you only have 4 to 6 inches on average of hair growth per year. So if you're cutting your hair 1 inch 4 times a year, then what length are you going to return? Some of you are not returning length because you're cutting out too much hair. You're going to salons where they're cutting out too much hair. We're only cutting hair that we do not need. Do not cut healthy hair. Okay, so if you're going to cut, don't go more than an inch. If your hair is healthy, you take care of your hair. Okay, this is also dependent on how you take care of your hair. That's why I always emphasize that you need to take care of your hair yourself. Take care of your hair. Pay attention to what it needs yourself. Know your hair type. Know what your hair needs. Keep your hair healthy. And you will not have to cut your hair so many times. You will not have to cut so much of it. But when it's dead, when it's not okay, please cut it. Do not hold on to hair that needs to go, okay? You will end up having to cut more in the long run. Another question you've been asking is, how many times do you cut your hair in a year? Okay, so first of all, this depends on your hair type, your hair porosity, your regimen, how you take care of your hair. You only cut your hair when it's necessary. I know people have given recommendations of 6 to 8 weeks, after every 4 months, after what. No. You have to know your own hair. This is why I say you should know your own hair, so that you give your hair the trims it needs. We have seen a lot of YouTubers that do not even trim their hair. They go for years without trimming their hair and they still have healthy hair. I'm not saying you should do that, because your hair is differently. Okay, some of you, your hair will start to wear and tear after 3 months. Some of you can go 6 months, 8 months without seeing any damage on your hair. Especially if you have a good hair care routine, your hair will go longer without getting damaged. Okay, but the whole 6 to 8 weeks for me is just too much. It's too much. It's not necessary unless you're transitioning out maybe your dead hair or something. Okay, so cut your hair only when it needs to be cut. Okay, personally, I give my hair half an inch trim twice a year, meaning from my 6 inches of growth, I'm only losing an inch. Okay, so another question is, what happens if you don't trim your hair? So if you don't trim your hair, it's still going to grow. If you trim your hair, it's not like it's going to grow faster because you were trimming your hair. The rate of your hair will not change. Nothing will influence that, okay? But then if you do not trim your hair, it's gonna grow, but this is what's going to happen. Your split ends, your damaged ends will be going from the ends down to your shaft. So your hair is going to keep on moving. The damage is going to keep moving and moving and moving. So it becomes your loss if you decide, I'm not going to trim my hair. I'm just going to watch the damage ends. It will still be growing, but you have more damaged hair, and you will have to cut off more hair at the end of the day. So take care of your hair. One person's holy grail recipe might not work for you. You're the only person that can give your hair the amount of attention it needs. So know your hair, handle your hair, or find a good stylist, someone passionate about hair. Find a detangling method with the least damage. That is all for now. Please share this video with someone with kids, with someone who wants to grow their hair. Like and subscribe. I will be back with more videos. Let us grow our natural crowns. Thank you.